Okay, once you've decided on your offensive design, and we've talked about that, I think the next thing is you've got to make sure that you've got all the segments of offense covered, and you have a plan for each of those segments. Now, you obviously your base offense has been decided. You know if you're going to be a spread team, a run and shoot team, a wing T team, an I team, single back, two backs, full house, whatever you are, you know what that is. Well, you have to make sure that you're then prepared for short yardage. And there's a lot of ways to skin a cat. We know that. But you've got to be prepared for these situations. You know, if you're a spread team and you're going to open it up, and you're going to be there with, five offensive linemen and one running back and your quarterback, you've got to be prepared that in a third and one or a fourth and one, you're somewhat limited. If somebody goes cover zero and puts somebody on each one of your four receivers, they then have seven in the box, and you've got five blockers and a running back. So you'd better have a plan. You better be prepared, I guess. I'm not a spread guy, but I guess you better be prepared to throw the ball or do something, and you guys would know, you spread guys would know. My point is, you've got to have a plan for each part of these segments of the offense. So, after your base offense and your short yardage may not be the same as your base offense. That's up to you. You know, what you run from the 20 to the 20, what you run on first and second and third downs may not be what you do in short yardage. That's up to you. But you sure better have a plan on how you're going to attack those short yardage situations. You also have to make a decision, and these are all things that you're going to do long before the season starts. This is what you do in the off season. Make some decisions on how you're going to handle third downs, how you're going to handle the mid-range, third and 3, third and 4. You know, it's not short yardage. It's that mid-range, third and 3 to third and 4, and then how you're going to handle those longer yardage situations. You know, third and 5 to third and 10. What's your plan? Don't be drawing things in the dirt on game day. You know, this all has to be planned out and planned out long before your season starts, and then your adjustments can be made during the season as your personnel shapes up. There's always going to be that kid who's going to come on more than you expected, and you want to get him involved a little bit more than you thought he was going to be, or there may be somebody else that's just not quite what you thought he was going to be, and he's not going to figure in as much as you thought. Those are all the adjustments you make as the season progresses. All right? And then certainly the next thing you want to look at is how you're going to handle long yardage 11 or more. You know, you're in a second and 12. You're in a situation where you've had a penalty and you're backed up. Then you certainly want to be able to have a plan on how to handle that. Okay? The other thing that you need to do next would be the red zone. How do you want to handle from the 20-yard line down to the 3 before you get to the goal line? You know, down there, once you get down there, you're going to be in a situation where there's going to be, you're going to get more man-to-man, you're going to get more blitzing, and you've got to be prepared for that. Certainly, throwing the football, you want to run more crossing routes against that man-to-man look. You want to do some things where you may have to, because of blitzes, you may have to have your quarterback read short to long instead of long to short in these situations. Defenses start to do some different things once they get down here. They don't have the depth of field that they have to defend as much as they do further up the field. So they can do more, they can take more chances and feel better about it. All right? Then the next part. What are you going to do going in? You're down on the goal line. What are you going to do? If you're a spread team, I would think down there you're going to spread out and you're going to do some things, either speed option or do some things throwing the football. You certainly, I don't think you would want to become a power team down there if that's not what you are. And there are plenty of things to do. You know, if you like to bang off tackle at the 50-yard line, then I'm sure you're going to like to bang off tackle down here and set up play action and that kind of thing. So you have to make some decisions on what you want to do here. And I've seen some guys with great goal line packages out of the spread. in anticipation of man-to-man and adjustments to zones down there. But I've seen some great packages, and you want to be prepared down there. Certainly, it helps you to do what you do and have the familiarity of your players to what you do, and be able to get down there and still score. Okay. Another thing, and I think a lot of people don't spend enough time on this, is coming out. You know, your defense has played well. They've stopped the other team. Team punts, ball rolls out of bounds on 1 yard line. You know, is your team prepared to huddle up in the end zone, come out, and that ball's on the 1 yard line, and they've got to get the ball out? Are you prepared? You know, are you prepared? Do you have a list of plays that you want to run down there, and in what order do you want to run them to get yourself out past the 10 yard line, where you have some room for your punter at least, and then you can move on and open up your playbook a little more as you get out to the 20. But certainly from the goal line to the 10, this is something that you want to be prepared for. Okay? Next part, you want to make sure you have your two-minute offense. You want to be prepared with that. You want to be prepared for it as a change of pace, and you want to be prepared with it when you're going to need it at the end of the game, end of the half, or in a situation where you need to move the football quickly. Certainly, you want to know that you, in that situation, you want to make sure that your timeouts are involved. You certainly want to be able to use the sidelines to stop the clock, and all those things. You need to be aware of them, and you need to practice them, and certainly it's an important segment of your offense. Another thing you want to be prepared for is a two-point conversion. You want to be prepared with it in case you need it in a game. And you certainly want to be prepared with it if it comes up in an overtime situation where you have to use it. You get into that third overtime and you're forced to to go to two-point conversion. You want to make sure that you have that. And then along with this, the last segment that I have in this situation would be the last play. You know, last play of the half, last play of the game. Do you need a field goal? Certainly on the last play of the game. Do you need a field goal? Do you need a touchdown? Do you have a play for each of those situations? Do you have a play to get you into a position where you can use this play? Okay, so those are the segments, the offensive segments. Those are the things that you want to make sure that you're prepared for, that your offense is prepared, that you coach during the season, during the preseason, and you're as a staff that you're ready to execute. Okay, and then there's one more part to this, and these are things that I think you need to spend time with, and this is all off-season stuff. This is stuff that you may practice in the preseason with your team, but it's more for you and your coaching staff. You know, you've got to consider the score. You've got to consider field position. You've got to consider your timeouts, how much time is left. How are you going to handle the last 2 minutes of the first half when you have a lead? How are you going to handle, you get the ball, you've got the lead, and you get the ball in the last minute of the half. Well, based on the score, field position, timeout, how are you going to handle that? And in each one of these, you have the same situation. How are you going to handle each of these things? When there's 4 minutes left, when you've got the lead, how are you going to run out the game? All right, you've got the lead, you get the ball, there's 4 minutes left. Do you have an offense? Do you have a way to run that out? You know, certainly you don't want to be throwing the ball and putting yourself in a situation where you're going to stop the clock for the other team. You want to make sure that they have to use their timeouts. Do you have that? Is that written? Is that being practiced? Are you and your staff on the same page with all that? So these are things, again, that you want to look at, and they're all part of the segments of offense that you should be prepared with for your team and for your play calling. Make sure that all these things are in place.